Morning, beloveds. Um, I'm sorry. I went to bed kind of late because we went to see a play last night. Um, we went to see The Picture of Dorian Gray, and it was incredible. It was incredible. Um, Honestly, the only thing I know about Dorian Gray is from watching the movie The Leave, Extraordinary Gentleman. So I was actually expecting the ending to happen the way it did, and the way that they did it was really incredible. It's a great group of actors. It's a great director. It's a great set designer. And their stage manager was amazing. The whole thing was just really incredible. And yeah, it was. So I was just like, support your community theater because some of these people are really good. It was intriguing. It was intriguing and amazing and awesome. And now, honestly, I want to read the book. I want to read the book. It's Oscar Wilde, so we'll go from there. All right, but that means I was out late, came home late, went to bed late, and I let myself sleep in an hour because we just decided to bike in the neighborhood this morning. I have a doctor's appointment on Thursday to see what's going on with the knee so I can go back to running, but until then. All right. It is October 2nd, and our title is I Have Nothing to Fear, for God is All There Is. And our quote is, Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. And that is from Isaiah 40:10. All right. If we believe in the omnipresence of God, we can handle the age-old problem of fear. Fear is the belief that God is absent. It is the only devil there is, and if it governs our thinking, we experience the only hell there is. If we are overcome by it, we are headed for trouble and disease. Both the Old and New Testaments tell us that this enemy can be overcome, but they tell us it can only be overcome within us, not by rearranging our affairs around us. Fear begins and ends within the mind of the one thinking it. The nightmare of its binding and restricting thought is broken as we turn to a belief in the goodness of God, the presence of a creative mind, and the feeling of a love that never fails. Oh, there's a period there. As we do this, a peace steals upon us. A faith rises up within us. The presence that sustained Jesus is also sustaining each of us at every instant. All that it asks of us is that we believe it and accept it. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. This is my belief. This governs and controls my thinking today. Nothing can stop my good from coming to me. For my mind is stayed on truth and peace. Peace fills. Stayed on truth and love. Peace fills my whole being. There is nothing to fear, for God is all there really is. I claim this presence as my own. I trust in the mind of God, and all is well, and all is good. I give thanks for a good day. All right. I'm mildly dyslexic, and apparently today I'm just moving entire words, not just letters. He didn't pull any punches today. He did not pull any punches at all. He's like, okay, the only devil is this, the only hell is this. Well, all the rest of it is, yeah. Every now and again, you'll read an Ernest Holmes, and he's not talking. He's just like straight up, look, this is the way it is, which I appreciate. Uh, Frequently, he's gentle. Most of the time, he's gentle. And then every now and again, he's just like, look, this is how it is. And as soon as you get with the program, things will be, I want to say easier. I want to say easier or better. And I'm not sure that's entirely true. Because when we're dealing with tough situations, we're dealing with tough situations. Whatever those tough situations look like, be they health, be they, whatever. And when we are going through them, it's work and it's hard and it's gonna be. But what Ernest is saying here is that our state of mind can go a long way to making it harder, or it can go a long way to making it easier. There are times that we are going to have to do things that we don't want to do for, whatever reason. And I will tell you where my mind is. Tomorrow we have a memorial, a celebration of life for Bill and Marty Birch. And then I get on an airplane and go to do my aunt's celebration of life. And you heard that right. I'm the minister for my aunt's memorial. It's going to be short. It's going to be sweet. My family does not do long, memorials. They just don't. And so, but that's where I'm at. And, they're not going to be easy. But we can go into this, and that's one of the reasons why we call them celebrations of life, because these people are no longer with us physically. We will always carry them in our hearts. Straight up truth. We're always going to carry them in our hearts, but they're not with us physically, and that is what we're mourning. But what we're celebrating is what they brought into our lives. All of the amazing and, silly and crazy and just the memories, and how knowing this person has changed us. And so, and then that's why it's a celebration of life. We are celebrating our interactions, and then we are opening to the grieving process of the fact that these people are no longer with us. But acknowledging that we always carry them in our hearts. And that's what makes it easier. That's what makes it bearable. Time doesn't heal. You heal over time. And so I think that's kind of where, maybe that's not where he's going, but that's where I'm going. And that's where I'm at today. So I have nothing to fear, for God is all there is. If God is all there is, then these people that I love and care about are still with me. And I'm going to remind you about Isaiah, okay? If you go back and read, Isaiah and Ezekiel are both very long books. They are prophets. They are prophets from the starts with an E. Exile. They're exile prophets. They came and said, we're in trouble. We better straighten up. And then trouble happened. And then they were like, okay, we created this. And now here's what we have to do to get out of it. They're fascinating reads. And if you have not read them, go back and read them. And they're very long books. So, piece at a time. I think they said that Isaiah has 3 different writers. But fear not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. And that's really what it is. It doesn't matter what situation you are in. The one thing that if you can realize this, that you are not alone, that you are always surrounded by the love of God, then whatever it is that you are doing will be easier. It will be lighter. It will be, because you will realize that you don't have to use your own power to deal with the situation that you're in. You can use God's power. You can use God's love. And that's what Isaiah 41:10 is. It's like, look, I've got you. I've got your back. I've got your back. If you can imagine God saying, I've got your back, I mean, I can. But I have that kind of relationship with God, so. All right, if we believe in the omnipresence of God, we can handle the age-old problem of fear. Fear is the belief that God is absent. Okay, so here's where he's not pulling any punches. Fear is the belief that God is absent. It is the only devil there is. And if it governs our thinking, we experience the only hell there is. So he's like, all right, God is all there is. And if you believe that you can get where God is not, that's the only devil. The only devil is your own thinking convincing you that God isn't present. And if your own thinking can convince you that God isn't present, then you're in hell. Because that would be the absence of God. Now, the truth is, God's still there. You have created an illusion. You have created an illusion of separation. But the amazing thing is if you've created the illusion, you can also break the illusion. Nobody can create the illusion for you. Now, I'm not saying that they can't lay the groundwork. But you create the illusion, you can take it down, and all their groundwork comes to naught when you realize who you are. And where God is, which is right here, right within you. It's also all around you. So you cannot go where God is not, because you carry God with you everywhere you go. All right, if we are overcome by it, we are headed for trouble and disease, because we have forgotten who we are. Both the Old and New Testaments tell us that this enemy can be overcome. Yep. But they tell us it can only be overcome within us, not by rearranging our affairs. So it doesn't matter what we do in our external world. It does matter in our external world, but when it comes to that kind, you have to rearrange your inner world. You have to rearrange your thinking. And that's one of the reasons why we talk about change your thinking, change your life. Because when you start thinking along the pathways of God is always present, then you will naturally rearrange your external affairs, and you will rearrange them in such a way as to break that illusion of separation. And you will probably rearrange it in such a way that you will, if not cut people out of your life, minimize contact and minimize the opportunity for them to continue laying that illusion of the separation. So you will rearrange your external affairs, but you do the inner work first, and then the external affairs will naturally rearrange. Fear begins and ends within the mind of the one thinking it. So that is, you created it, and that the great news is, since you created it, you can break it. The nightmare of its binding and restricting thought, the nightmare of its binding and restricting thought is broken as we turn to a belief in the goodness of God, the presence of a creative mind, and the feeling of a love that never fails. And a love that never fails is one of those tenuous concepts, because we have had relationships, all kinds of relationships, and they have failed. And so we're like, so then how do we extrapolate up? And that's where you don't look at human relationships and extrapolate up to the divine relationship. That's where you look around at nature. You look around at nature. Every year spring comes. Every year the trees bud out. Every year the grass gets greener. Every year the animals have little animals. Every year. It never fails. That's where you look at the love that never fails. Don't try and model God's love on human relationships. It doesn't work that way. We're far too messy for that. We can emulate it. But if you want the truth of the divine love, look at nature. Look at nature. Look at the cycles of nature and look at the cycles of nature that never fail. All right. And that is especially important for anybody who have had family of origin issues where, people that are supposed to love you have failed you. So when you are looking at the divine love, don't model it on humans. Model it on nature. And I'm not even talking about animals. I'm talking about the scope of nature, the cycle of nature. Look at that as divine love. All right. As we do this, a peace steals upon us. I mean, honestly, every morning the sun rises and every morning the sun sets. There you go. It never fails. It never fails. As we do this, a peace steals upon us. A faith rises up again within us. The presence that sustained Jesus is also sustaining each and every one of us at every instant, because time and space mean nothing to spirit. Nothing. All that it asks of us is that we believe it and accept it. There's that free will thing again. Got to accept it. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Okay, you know where that is. That's Psalm 23. This is my belief. This governs and controls my thinking today. Nothing can stop my good from coming to me, for my mind is stayed on truth and love. My mind is stayed on truth and love. If we can focus on those two, God is all there is, and love is the nature of God, anything is possible. Peace fills my whole being. There is nothing to fear, for God is all there really is. Okay, so there's nothing to fear. It doesn't mean that there won't be times of hard work. It doesn't mean that there won't be times of sadness. It doesn't mean that there won't be times where we might get jerked up out of our reality and go, whoa, okay? But in the end, if we know who we are and we know whose children we are, we'll get through it. And if we can let go of the fear and buckle down and do the work, we'll get through it faster. Peace fills my whole being. There is nothing to fear, for God is all there really is. I claim this presence as my own, which is why you hear a lot of Science of Mind ministers. There's one life, one power, one presence. That life is my life now. That presence, that power, that's mine now. That's the way we tend to start those prayers. Those are earnest words. We claim that presence. We claim that God within us. And we claim that God within you. It's like, we know who you are. We see you. We see you as the beloved child of God that you are. I claim this presence as my own. I trust in the mind of God, and all is well, and all is good. I give thanks for a good day. All right. So our mission, should we choose to accept it, is for our mind to stay on truth and love. Whatever it is that is going on in your life, if it is wonderful, then your mind stays on truth and love. And if it is awful, keep your mind on truth and love. Keep your mind on the presence. Keep your mind on the Spirit. Buckle down and do the work. But realize that you're doing it with a partner. And you're doing it with a willing partner who is merely waiting for your acceptance. That's who you are. That's who we all are. So that's the mission. Should we choose to accept it? To keep our minds on, to keep our minds stayed on the truth and love. All right, beloveds. I have allergy season. I was just out in the riding around for an hour. I'm also going to encourage you, as I always do, to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. Whatever that looks like. I deliberately set today up, so that I don't have to leave my house. Today is a day of rest. Yeah, I have some stuff to do, because like I said, gotta get on an airplane tomorrow. So I have some, just minor household tasks. But today is a day of rest, because the next couple of days are gonna be busy. And I need to rest. I choose to rest. So I did everything that I had to do so that I could take today, and I've heard ministers call it Sacred Saturday. I'm taking a Sacred Saturday. So that is my kind, compassionate, loving thing that I have done for myself. And it is a big one today. Sunday may be a cup of tea. Monday may be a cup of tea. Today, it is Sacred Saturday. All right, beloveds. I do encourage you to engage your mind and your body. It is fall. The weather is a little bit better. A little bit better. And it's not raining right now. So I got a nice long bike ride in, which has got my mind up and awake and going. And I don't think we're going to see the sun today. I don't. But I do encourage you to drink plenty of water. And open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. So look for it. Look for it and truly see. And that's why we want to keep our mind stayed on the truth. To realize that heaven and hell are literally states of mind. And that loving kindness and compassion that I'm always encouraging you to do, that is one of the ways that you create heaven. By loving kindness and compassion with yourself and with the people that you encounter and the living things that you encounter. Because we can be kind to the four-leggeds, the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the six-leggeds, the eight-leggeds, the no-leggeds. All right. Do what you need to do to make it a great day, a fantastic day, an amazing day, a wonderful day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. All right? It's Saturday. And if you work today, then work with your partner. Work with that silent partner that is always with you. And if you rest today, rest within that partner. Allow that love to fold you up in that warm, fluffy blanket. Or cool, fluffy blanket, depending on where you live. Let it permeate your cells. Let it fill you up. Let it fill your mind, your body, your heart, your soul. Fill up on that love. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on Facebook Live with you around 5 p.m. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. All bets are off on Sunday and Tuesday. I will take my book with me. I will get this done. I promise. I'm just not sure when and how and where. But they'll go up. And if they come up at a weird time, then just know they will be on the YouTube channel later. That's one of my goals today, is to work on that. Get that a little more caught up. So, I mean, check me out. I'm the Running Rev Ryan on the Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And then there's always good stuff on the Creative Life Spiritual Center. And we now have, if you go to Instagram or TikTok, we are Creative Life. We are Creative Life Spark. So, okay, beloveds, I'm going to move into the process of my day. Take care of yourself and know that you're loved. All right? Until next time.